Are you ready for another video? As we all know, in order to make a game, you're going to need some sort of idea. But where do they come from? That was shitely done. So the first thing I feel every developer should do when trying to come up with a game idea and make a game is to play games. And I said this in the previous video. It's like, oh, just play games, yeah, of course, go figure. But what I mean by that is, especially in this sense, is say you're playing an RPG game, right, a role-playing game, and you're like, just look at that game as it is. Why are you playing it, first of all? Figure that out. What is fun to you? What are you enjoying about it? What keeps you coming back? You know, so that could be two sort of mechanics, for example. Like, that could be you really enjoy the fishing, or you're really into the smithing side, you know. So two sort of separate mechanics that don't really seem relevant to each other. Try and combine them in some way, and this kind of ties into the second point I'm going to make in a minute. But try and combine those as a bit of a main focus. Like, just picture a smithing fishing game. A game where you smith fishing rods. A game where you smith fishing rods in order to catch bigger, more mythic sea creatures. Cthulhu fishing. So yeah, so just finding those two aspects of things. I mean, you could have a look at Overwatch, you know, Tracer's recall ability, for example, and a 2D platformer. Put those two together, that can absolutely work as an idea as well. A platformer where you have the ability to recall. Oh wait, isn't that just Jonathan Blow's game? Braid. It's Braid. That's just Braid. Either way, my point still stands, you know. While writing the script, I came up with two random ideas, put them together, and it kind of created something special, and one of them being an already existing game by Jonathan Blow, Braid. So, point proven. Kind of building on from that as well, is the second tip that I want to say is, don't just combine mechanics from games, but try and combine game genres or games themselves. So, because that's kind of what we've done for Facility 43, our current physics horror game in the works, which we've got a couple of devlogs on. We took Amnesia, the bunker, we looked at that, we're like, that's cool. Hey yo, that's a cool game. So we kind of took that idea. You know, we like the physics interaction of that. We like the general non-linearity of the levels and so on and so forth, and kind of how the monster moves about. But we also really liked Alien Isolation in that aspect, and how the monster and the xenomorph adapts and learns, whereas it feels like in the bunker that doesn't really happen. So we were like, well, what if we kind of combine those two? So it's more semi-linear levels, like Alien Isolation, combined with the physics interaction and general puzzle structure of Amnesia the Bunker, and then throwing in our own twist on that. Obviously, to make it unique, you can't just take two games, slap them together, and it just work. You're going to need some sort of extra grip on that. So for us, it's, of course, the voice-activated lantern in that. That's our own twist on it to make it unique to us, because we're taking inspiration from both games, we're combining them, and then we're slapping our little cherry on the top. So that's something you can think about. What if I can combine X and Y mechanic? What would happen? Or what if I combined X and Y genre? So the third tip that I would say is prototype things. This is something I'm quite bad for doing, at least on personal projects. It's just jumping straight into development. I've come up with an idea, let's go, let's hit the ground running, let's make it. Next thing I know, the game's not even fun, and I don't even know what direction the game's going to go in. So, back to the graveyard it goes. Just prototyping, coming up with those ideas, testing them, seeing if they're fun. You know, forget anything about graphics, very minimal sound. All you want to do in the prototype is just focus on those bare bone mechanics. What are the mechanics that if they were not in the game, your game would not work? If you break them down into those simple steps, those little building blocks, that's going to help build your game into at least something testable, something you can trial with like a couple mates. Yes, it's not going to look fantastic. Yes, it's not going to sound great, but it's going to get the point across of what your game is and what it's about. So absolutely always prototype before you jump into developing a game. Test your idea, see if it works. Because if it doesn't, you've not wasted months and months and months of time on development just for something not to work. And we kind of learnt that the hard way, didn't we? Conor, I say Conor because he's editing the video, didn't we, Conor? With our recent project, we didn't prototype, so we wasted quite a few months of development time, and we started a new project, and that has gone so much better since we actually prototyped. So the proof is kind of in the pudding. Proof into pudding, as they say somewhere. Anyway, I hope those tips in some way help you develop your next game idea and come up with something unique that you can try, test, and go on to make £1 million with. Don't quote me on that. I'm not actually, please don't leave that in. If you do find it helpful and do enjoy this type of content, then please do leave a like and subscribe, as it does help out our very small studio. We love to see the support that you guys give. If you want to further support us, we do have a Patreon as well, where you can get like videos a day early, names and credits, access to alpha and beta releases of our games, of our recent releases, names at the end of videos, and in-game credits as well. So those are just a couple of things you can grab. We also have a community Discord server, and lastly, make sure to follow us on Blue Sky to keep up with general announcements and stuff like that. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in a bit.